Coming up on this episode of This Racing Life.
It was a nervous wait. People telling us that we'd won it and thinking, oh, would you? Shut up. Because, you know, Ben had already celebrated, so it was going to be a bit of an anticlimax had we not won it.
I genuinely think he is an out-and-out stayer, even though that he has got a bit of speed about him as well.
I remember seeing her for the first time, and I think I squealed inside.
Really?
Yeah, I was so excited to meet her.
They've done it from a welfare point of view. There's obviously not a huge amount of space in Hong Kong for horses to retire there, so they get sent elsewhere for that retirement.
This Racing Life with Albasti Equiworld, the leading supplier of horse feeds and supplements.
Welcome back to This Racing Life. In this episode, we visit the training yard of Kim Bailey Mat Nicholls to speak to a young, inspiring rider, Aamilah Aswat, who is making history. We've come down here to Wiltshire to see 5-star event rider Coral Hardman, who has partnered with the Hong Kong Jockey Club's Restart programme. But first, we went to see Ben Pauling, the high-flying Ben Jones, and a certain King George winner. The Jukebox Man's win in the King George was the first open Grade 1 win of your career. You'd obviously had Grade 1 winners in novice races. Did that feel like a real monkey off the back?
I don't think it did, because we'd never had an opportunity to win one before.
But it's interesting because I think afterwards in the interview, you said, we thought we'd come here with a good chance, but we thought he'd run well.
Yeah.
Was there a feeling before that day then, you weren't 100% sure, maybe because you hadn't done it before, that he was definitely going to go and win something like a King George?
There's two ways of looking at it. I don't think it was a monkey off our back, because actually Handstands was our first ever runner in our 13th season in an open Grade 1 in the Betfair. And he ran very, very well for a long way, and then just in hindsight had a breathing issue at the home straight, and that explained a lot. And he ran brilliantly well at in the Fleur de Lis, giving weight away, and I was delighted with Sunday. But the Jukebox Man, I suppose, was the second, and it was just touted to be the best King George we'd seen for so long. The horses in it were quite clearly proper Grade 1 proven horses, you know, Gaelic Warriors, Banbridges. You know, there were a lot of very, very good horses, and it was going to take an extraordinary run to compete. But to win it, we on ratings had to find £20. We believed he could do it. We believed he was good enough. And I suppose the only thing to me was, if he wasn't good enough, then, oh golly gosh, what was going to be? You know, I was going to have to go back to the drawing board and think, where are we going now? What's going to be better than Jukebox? Because he is a talented horse with a lot to look forward to. But it was an amazing day. It was fabulous to be part of the race. It was even better to come out on top in such a close finish. And I can't wait to see how we get on the rest of the season, because some people might think he's now a Kempton specialist. I'd possibly say he's not suited to Kempton that well. And
what makes you say that?
From the back of 3 out, he looked like he could win it by 4-5. You know, he was going the best. Ben had got him in a fabulous position. Quickened up to 3 out, winged it, and I thought, now you go away. And they quickened the calibre of the race. They all quickened together. Actually, he then looked flat out, and it was only for a bit of his guts and determination to get back up after the last, which won him the race. I wouldn't say. I just think he can gallop at a strong pace for a long time, and he's only going to get better with a bit further.
The only thing I wanted was a good start, and that's what I got. And after that, then he was just plain sailing from there. So I had box seat everywhere, and I was able to go and not go whenever I wanted to.
What was the build-up to the race like? Did it feel different?
I think the build-up was different in the sense of it was looking like it was going to be a spectacular race, and obviously with Harry Redknapp and a few of the Irish coming over, it was a bit of a buzz about it, and I'm just glad that it ended up being a spectacular race. I was even better to win it, so whenever we look back at it, we always remember Ben Pauling and Ben Jones.
You obviously thought that he had a good chance going into it, but did he show a different side to him than you thought he had before?
He's never had to battle like he did,
Yeah.
so that was obviously the unknown. And like every time he's won previously, he's won with his head in his chest. And I think when he got headed coming down to just over the last, not many horses come back, let alone like around Kempton, and let alone where 3 others are around you and they all wing the last. And we jump it fine, but just not landing running. And to be fair to him, we got half a length down and he just kept picking up. So no, it was true grit and something he hasn't had to do before, but it's good that we know he can.
When you have a massive contender in a race like the King George, the noise is always going to be huge. What pressure did you feel leading up to that race?
I didn't feel any pressure from the outside world, the press, the media, nothing like that. I just had a personal pressure just to have him spot on. That was my job, to have him spot on. If he didn't win because he wasn't good enough, that was okay. But it would have been disappointing, or if he'd not been competitive. But the pressure I probably put on myself was to have him absolutely spot on. And I think we could confidently say that we felt we did. Ben Jones genuinely said that he probably took a little bit of a blow going to 2 out, and that we could improve again. So we'll make sure we put another couple of pieces into him for March. But we won't be far away.
When he hit the line, did you know?
I thought I did.
How was that feeling?
Ben thought he did. It was great until that took a long time to come through. I mean, it was just ridiculous. It was trying to work out first, second, third. You know, there was all. If it had just been one photo, it probably would have been a bit quicker. But there was inches between 3 of them. So, and Django Bai ran a mighty race as well. So yeah, it was a nervous wait. People telling us that we'd won it and thinking, oh, would you shut up? Because Ben had already celebrated, so it was going to be a bit of an average or an anticlimax had we not won it. So.
It gets announced the Jukebox Man's won the King George. Describe your feelings. How proud were you of yourself, the team, the owners? Like that feeling must be unbelievable.
Oh, it was huge for the whole team behind me, which is this lot that make it all work. It meant everything, I'll never forget when I walked into the pub on the way back. My head lass, Jill Tate, she wouldn't be someone that screams and shouts about much, but the way that she reacted to winning that race, I felt like it was gratification for all the work that people had done for so many years. And Jill's been in the industry for a long time, and if and when she's no longer working in racing, to say that she was head lass when the Jukebox Man won the King George will mean so much, and so it should.
Does it make you believe in yourself and what you're doing even more when you have those winners on those massive days?
Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. When you're able to achieve consistent results in the graded races on big Saturdays, it does make you believe in what you're doing, and confidence is a great thing.
For such a long period, we had Paul Nicholls and Nicky Henderson in this country dominating, and now yourself, Dan Skelton, Ollie Murphy's in that conversation. That's now the top table. It's not just 2; it is the 5 of you.
Yeah.
How does it feel to be in that conversation?
Yeah, that's great, and it's where we want to be, and we're very flattered that people would put us in that level. We've only just joined it, if we have, and so we're not going to rest on our laurels. It's going to take a real effort to stay there, And that's both on the buying front, on every angle. You can't take your foot off the pedal at any one time. But if we keep buying nice horses and keep them healthy, we've got half a chance. That's the key thing, keeping them healthy. I think over time I've realised I've probably got OCD. I never ever had it as a child. And it's, I don't know, like, it sounds really stupid, but I'm just, when you build a shiny new yard that is immaculate and clean when you start, why on earth would you ever let it become a mouldy, grubby? Because very, very quickly, the amount of horses you've got here and the amount of sort of shavings and just muck and grime, for God's sake, it can very easily become somewhere which isn't clean and tidy. And you know, the thing that's killing me at the moment is the fact that we need some more planings for the potholes. You know, but it's the horse's health is everything. But if you look after the whole lot and you keep it up to speed and in good shape, then as time goes on, you're going to end up with a, you know, clean, healthy environment which the horses can thrive off. So yeah, I suppose it's almost become a bit of a, you know, I've ended up a bit OCD about the whole thing, but that's fine.
The Christmas period was obviously great with the Jukebox Man, but it got even better on the 27th in the Wayward Lad when Mambo number 5 went and won, and he was so impressive doing it. The feeling I get from you, the whole team, and you've been consistent throughout with this horse, is that the further he goes, the better he's going to be. So what is it like having a horse that's winning 2-mile graded novice chases and you actually think you'll see the best of him over a trip?
There was no two ways about it going into the Wayward Lad. I mean, Lynn and Angus, who own him, were asking questions about the ground. Ollie, who rides him, was saying, "Are you really going to run him on that ground?" And I said, yeah, because he's not going to injure himself on it. You know, he's a very, very sound horse. It was an extraordinary race to watch because at halfway point I thought we were out with the washing. And then suddenly coming to 3 out, you're swinging along on the bridle and everything else is off it. So it was a great watch in the end. He's obviously a very talented horse. He's got a long way to go still, I suppose. And we're now going to be going to the Kingmaker as his final run before Cheltenham, because I think he has to have another run. He's so fresh. He thrives off work, and I think if you tried to keep a lid on him between now and Cheltenham, it wouldn't work. I mean, this season he has been quite incredible for a 4-year-old. Open, you know, in open handicap company. You know, Highlands Legacy, another horse that went and won at Windsor the other day. That's strong form behind him. Everything we've done, every question we've asked, he's come through it in the end quite easily.
He's doing stuff that he shouldn't be doing, really. Like he's winning at a trip that he probably shouldn't be running over, let alone winning. I think the best thing about him is his attitude after each run. Like Ollie comes back and he says that he's bouncing, and you have to lay the work back into him. And like for a young horse, like he's ran a good few times, and he's probably going to run again now before March. So, like just to see that he's run that many times in the season, being so young, then it shows his mentality, and if he can keep that through the next 3-4 years, then he's going to be a good horse, let alone his ability.
And you've got the Jukebox Man in the Gold Cup, but there's a Cheltenham Festival team already forming. So many decent novices. You think Diva Luna's going to go to the Scilly Isles, but you've got Vanderpoel, who was great at Sandown, could go to a handicap, Meet Me by the Sea. They all look really smart, but with him, he's a real chance in the Arkle, isn't he?
I think so. Like he's shown us that he's done stuff that we don't think he should have been doing so far, and I think he's obviously going to be one of the bigger prices in that. And I wouldn't count him out. It's the first time he's probably going to have a stiff 2-mile, and hopefully the ground's on our side, and I think that's all just going to play into his favour.
From a King George winning jockey to an inspiring conditional who has already made history of her own, we went to Bailey Nicholls Racing to hear from Amela Aswat.
I actually was here when I was at school, so when I was 14 I rode out here as well. And then I went to the racing school, did the foundation course, and then came here and then started working full time when I was 16. It's quite a while, I'd say, actually. So I've lived on site for like 3 years, I'd say.
How much do you enjoy it up
Oh
there?
yeah, loads, yeah. Loads. It's quite nice to just roll out of bed and then work's just here, so.
What's Matt and Kim like to work for?
Oh yeah, they're a pleasure. They always try to look after me and take care of me as much as they can.
Very quiet when she first arrived, but she was very confident, very good seat on her horse, very good pair of hands on her, and without wanting to go over the top, she was natural on a horse. She had a lot of confidence and she seemed to get on with horses very nicely. You know, we have an awful lot of staff from the racing school and they do a fantastic job. These guys will come in after doing a 9-week course, they'll be 16 years old. I find it remarkable that people who have never had anything to do with a horse can come into the working environment like this. They can muck out, they can ride 3 lots. They're obviously very basic, but they improve and improve and improve, and what the job the racing schools do, I think, is phenomenal. But every now and then you'll get one that's perhaps a little bit better, and as I say, Aamilah had that background with the pony racing, that where she had the practice, and you could tell that she was just had a natural affinity with horses, which I think is, it probably is a rare thing, to be honest.
And she's made history by becoming the first black female British jump jockey to race in the UK. How much pride does that give you and Kim to have given her that leg up?
Yeah, it's massively. I mean, I don't think we ever really thought about it, to tell you the truth. It wasn't, there was no sort of like, oh, A, she's a female, B, she's black. It made absolutely no difference to us whatsoever. She was a miller, she was working in the yard. Her schooling was very, very good. She worked hard. We knew she wanted to be a jockey. She deserved her chance. And then when she actually rode, the amount of publicity and the amount of press involvement, I think, quite surprised us, really. I didn't realise quite how much a big deal it was. And then, when you think about it, it does make you very proud that you've been part of it. But beforehand and even during, it was just a member of staff who'd worked very hard and deserved their chance and took their chance when it happened.
The Riding a Dream Academy came from Khadija,
Yeah.
and how incredible she was. Was she an inspiration when you were getting involved in the Riding a Dream Academy?
Oh yeah, definitely. I remember seeing her for the first time, and I think I squealed inside.
Really?
Yeah, I was so excited to meet her, because I just looked up to her and I thought, I want to do what she does.
What was it about her that you found so inspiring?
The fact that she looked like me, she had the same skin colour as me. It just makes me feel like, that people who look like me can actually do it. Obviously, you do walk into yards or you do go to the races. There's just not many people with the same faces as me, and it's nice to see someone with a name out there that has actually done what I could possibly do in the future.
And Khadija did the Magnolia Cup. You followed in her first steps in 2024, and what an incredible race it was. You were so close.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that whole experience, because that was the first time you'd sat on a racehorse in a race?
Yeah, it was actually. Yeah. And a flat horse as well, which is quite different from your jump horses. I remember I rode out at Tom Clover's because it was trained by him, and all the staff there, and him himself was lovely. And I thought, oh my gosh, these horses are crazy compared to average jump horses. But the horse really looked after me, bless him, and I had a really good spin on him.
How proud of a moment was that to not only run in a Magnolia Cup but to finish second? That must have been incredible. Oh
yeah, it was a really good feeling. It just felt so good. I still remember the feeling, especially Goodwood. That racecourse is so nice. The atmosphere, and everyone was so helpful on the day.
Your story is inspiring and it's an important story to tell. Do you think it's almost a shame that in 2026 a story like this is so important? It's obviously an amazing thing to have happened, but this is something like it makes no difference. We were speaking to Matt and he was saying Aamilah is just simply a very good rider who's worked really hard and deserves it no matter what she looks like. Is it a shame that this is such a big story?
Yeah, in a way, because there should be more jockeys, especially in the UK, that have a different background, just different faces of jockeys. I shouldn't have to be the first one to do it, but it feels, in a way, it also feels good as well.
Man, it's amazing that you were there. What's the response been like since?
Oh, so good. Yeah, just everyone again. So just everyone congratulated me, and it just feels good to just pursue my future even more.
What would it mean to be the first black lady jockey to ever win a race, or just win a race yourself? What would that be like?
Oh, I bet. I just can't wait until I experience it, because I don't think words can put how proud I'd feel of myself finally winning a race. So I think that is definitely the next step.
How much does that drive you, getting up in the morning?
Oh, it drives me a lot, especially the early mornings. It just helps with everything, just determination and working towards that. It just all helps.
Do you think that's your strongest asset, determination?
Yeah, I'd say so. Just sticking with things, and also time as well, because not everything happens overnight. It could take a matter of weeks or years. You just never know, but as long as you stick with it, then you'll just have to find out what happens.
From one determined individual to the next, we go back to Ben's to ask for his thoughts on the second half of the season.
Ben, so we're in the middle of January and you're £60,000 behind your best ever season total when it comes to prize money. That's coming off the back of the best month you've ever had from a prize money point of view, December 2025. What's the mood in the camp moving towards the second half of the season?
Everyone within the yard is in great form. You know, when the horses are running well, and not every horse can win, but the ones you're hoping will run well or you're expecting to run well do. It gives everyone confidence. Everyone seems to be pulling in the right direction, and going forward into the spring, we're in a great place, both with horsepower, but also the staff and everyone's in the right frame of mind, and it feels good at the moment.
What a team of horses you have going into the second half of this season. It will be largely dominated by the Jukebox Man and the Gold Cup. What will it mean to have a runner in the Cheltenham Gold Cup?
If I can have him A1, and even better than we had him at Kempton possibly, then you've got to go in there with the right squeak. But he'll have to step up on Kempton to win a Gold Cup. You probably wouldn't win a Gold Cup with the Kempton performance, realistically. Something's going to have to go 5 or 6 lengths clear.
But you're confident there is improvement still to come?
Yeah. He's only had 4 runs over fences. Very unexposed over fences, considering last season he really didn't have to try overly hard to win the Grade 2 and the Corto Star Novice. And then he floated around Haydock, which actually the form has more substance to it than first thought, with Iroko winning the graduation chase at Ascot. But he really didn't come out of second gear. And then he's had a proper ding-dong, his first proper ding-dong over fences, and he's somehow managed to come out in front. So hopefully he takes confidence from that, improves from that, and will be a better horse come March.
What is it about him and how he felt in the King George that makes you think Cheltenham, the Gold Cup's right for him?
From word go, it's just been his class that has always been a level above others that I've been riding. And the way he goes through his races, he just finds everything so effortless, and just lobs and jumps and just gets in a brilliant rhythm every time. And I think the faster, like the King George, we thought we were going to go very fast. We didn't in the end. But I think that whatever speed we go in the Gold Cup, he'll be able to just to lob and jump and get in a good rhythm. And I genuinely think he is an out-and-out stayer, even though that he has got a bit of speed about him as well. The way I probably look at it is that you look at the Coral Stars and stuff, they won over 2 mile and then they won a Gold Cup. Like it's just the class. And I think he genuinely could run over 2 mile, and I do believe that he will stay 3 mile too as well. To have a Gold Cup contender, to have a ride in it, let alone a contender, is brilliant. And we're obviously a couple of months away now, so we'll just keep our head down and get through the next couple of months and then look forward to it when we get into March.
An awful lot to look forward to for Ben Pauling and his team. Let's head to Wiltshire, where we spoke to 5-star event rider Coral Hardman about the Hong Kong Jockey Club Restart programme for retired racehorses.
So that came about through my show jumping coach, Corinne Bracken, and she's their performance manager. She's sort of very heavily involved in lots of different disciplines within the Hong Kong Jockey Club. And they were looking for somebody professional to retrain and rehome as part of their restart programme. And she recommended me, and it's kind of gone from there.
They always come off the box looking really good, actually. But we just give them a bit of a rest and kind of assess them a little bit and see how they're settling in. And then we try to kind of get them out into the field, which is obviously a little bit alien to them. They do have some time in the field out in Hong Kong, but not quite the same setup as we would have. So we sort of do that really gradually from half an hour and then just build it up as the days go by. But we wouldn't think of getting on them for at least a week after they've arrived. And there's just so much change from the climate to their diet to just being out in the fields. There's so much change for them that we just feel that they need that little bit of time.
For those that don't know about the programme, what is it and how does it work?
It's an incentive that the Jockey Club have put together. They've put a programme in place of professional people worldwide. It's not just me in the UK. There's people all over the world, Australia, wherever. And they will assess those horses and look at them and work out where they think they would be best placed. And then at that point, they come to me or to whoever and they go and start their retraining. And I think they've done it from a welfare point of view. There's obviously not a huge amount of space in Hong Kong for horses to retire there. So they get sent elsewhere for that retirement or change of career.
How important is it that racehorses are rehomed and they're sent to an amazing place for them to enjoy the latter stages of their life?
I think from a welfare point of view, it's really important. I think it's a great incentive that the Jockey Club have kind of put this together. I think it's really important. I feel really passionate about it. It's just wonderful to be able to give the horses a chance to have another life, entirely different to what they've been used to, but they adapt to it really well. And yeah, it's amazing to see them go on. And you know, they don't necessarily have to be superstars. They don't necessarily have to go to competition homes. It might just be the smallest thing that they just trot through a set of trot poles really well the first time and you think, oh my goodness, hallelujah. Or it might be getting videos of somebody out hacking on the New Forest with their dog running beside them and you just think, what a lovely life that horse has now got.
So Coral, you're here with Super Highway. How long have you had him and how has he taken to your regime?
We've had him since the 1st of July and we've just kind of built him up really slowly, getting him strong up on our hills on Salisbury Plain, which we're so fortunate to have. And he's sort of at the stage of doing a little bit of jumping now.
Was he a natural?
Actually, yeah. They've all been quite natural. The first couple of fences you have to just kind of write off in your mind, but they've picked it up really quickly, and he especially.
And we saw Super Highway out there doing some pole work. Incredible to see how in control of his body he was, and that's something that not all racehorses have naturally. Is it a nice surprise when one really does take to it?
Yeah, it is actually. And obviously these horses are all flat horses, and so particularly when it comes to jumping, I wasn't too sure how they would cope with that. But actually they all seem to have shown quite a lot of natural ability. And I think if I can get them strong in their bodies and then teach them to kind of have a little bit of balance, then you're kind of halfway there.
And what will the next couple of months look like for a horse like Super Highway?
We'd progressed to doing a little bit more grid type work, so multiple fences, a little bit more sort of gymnastic type jumping, I call it, to kind of strengthen and develop his jump and then progress towards being able to jump around a little course. Not necessarily anything huge, but yeah, it'd be great to get him to jump a little course. He has seen some fillers already and wasn't fazed by them at all.
Do you think that racing is doing enough to ensure security for racehorses after their careers?
I think it's going in the right direction, yeah. Absolutely. I think people are becoming much more aware. It's something that's talked about much more. You've got things like the Howden Way, where people can go and get coaching from people that are experienced with racehorses, and I think anything like that's got to be a good thing.
And when it comes to your experience with the Hong Kong Jockey Club, how much support do you feel from their side of things as well?
Yeah, they're great, and they want to know where the horses go. I fill out a form when the horses are sold, so they know that there's that continuity there. They know where those horses have gone, and there's a record of it, and it's not a case of kind of they just want them gone, out of sight, out of mind. They very much care and want to kind of, follow their future.
That's it for this episode of This Racing Life. We do hope you've enjoyed. Great thanks to Aamilah Aswat, Mat Nicholls, Coral Hardman, Ben Jones and Ben Pauling. Until next week, we'll see you then.
This Racing Life with Albasti Equiworld, the leading supplier of horse feeds and supplements. Watch live racing now on racingtv.com.